Hello, welcome to the Self Learning Platform by Dr. Sushma Singh. Today we are going to start Unit 16 Welfare State with topic Liberal Democratic Welfare State. Positive liberalism in the 20th century came to be identified with the democratic welfare state. The welfare state involves a radical transformation of the 19th century capitalist laissez-faire state in respect of the scope of public policy, the character of the state action, the basic assumptions concerning human nature, and the idea of social good. The welfare state attempted to reconcile the interests of the individual with that of the society in order the essential of the capitalist system were preserved while at the same time removing its ill effects. The object of the state is not only to maintain law, order, and justice, but it is also a part of the social process. Its function in the society is to serve the common interests and perform services for the welfare of all members of the society. The main principles of the welfare state are respectively simple. Firstly, the recognition that every member of the community, solely because he is a human being, is entitled to a minimum standard of living. Secondly, the welfare state is committed to a policy of economic stability and progress, seeking to eliminate the cycles of the violent booms and busts in the economy by public policies. Whenever private enterprise is unable to prevent by itself the threat of economic instability or decline. Thirdly, the welfare state is committed to full employment as one of the top priorities of public policy. The economic depression of the 1930s showed not only the economic revenges of unemployment, but also the human degradation inflicted upon those who, though able and anxious to work, could not find jobs for reasons over which they had no control. Adherents of the welfare state believe that free enterprise can be preserved and strengthened by full employment policies without going to the extremes of nationalization. Taxation properly adjusted to periods of the prosperity and depression, interest rates determined by governmental decisions according to current and prospective economic needs and conditions. Fiscal policies designed to redistribute purchasing power in harmony with the best interest of the nation. Investment incentives to private business in times of slack, public works for direct unemployment relief, government credits to builders or buyers of home. Those are but a few of the measures the government can adopt in stabilizing the economy without changing its foundations. In the field of social security, protection against want, sickness, and old age is not only demanded by humanitarian considerations, but can also be adjusted on economic grounds since a minimum standard of living guaranteed by Social Security provides people with a minimum purchasing power, which is indispensable to the operation of industry in prosperity and depression. Collective bargaining between labor and management is another basic contribution towards a more stable and prosperous economy because higher wages provided they are based on the higher productivity and not on organized exhaustion create a bigger market for the products of industry and agriculture. Through the instrument of welfare, positive liberalism used the power of the state to modify the play of market forces in at least three directions. By guaranteeing the individuals and families a minimum income irrespective of the market value of their work or property. By narrowing the content of insecurity by enabling individuals and families to meet certain social contingencies such as sickness, old age, and unemployment, and by ensuring that all citizens without distinction of status or class are offered the best available agreed range of social services. The distinguishing characteristic of the welfare state is the assumption by the community acting through the state of the responsibility of providing the means whereby all its members can reach minimum standard of health, economy, and civilized living and can share according to their capacity in its social and cultural heritage. The welfare state has the following unique features, which we will discuss in our next session. Now, let us discuss welfare state is a positive state. The underlying assumption behind the welfare state is that the state is not a necessary evil, but a desirable institution capable of promoting positive good. Whereas the laissez faire liberalism contended that the government can advance the common interest by leaving the individual alone and through the free and unrestricted play of natural forces. The exponents of welfare state argued that the state could best promote the general welfare by a positive exercise of its powers. It regarded the democratic state not as an evil force, but as an instrument that the people could and should use to further their common interest, to ameliorate the conditions under which they lived and worked, and to provide for their healthy and safety, and to same extent for their social and economic security. Now the next point is welfare state is democratic. The neoliberals categorically asserted that the welfare state is a democratic state, possessing a certain formal institutional mechanism, which is considered essential in liberal democratic society. Any state which may be a welfare state but is not democratic from the institutional point of view cannot be regarded a liberal state. The state can be a welfare state only if it is manifests itself through a formal democratic institutional attire. A state which merely undertakes the task of welfare, such as guaranteeing a minimum income, elimination of insecurity of the individual and the family crisis by supplying social contingencies, and which also tries to provide a certain range of services to all but does not provide a democratic institutional framework and political and civic liberties will not be considered a welfare state. It is on this ground that the communist countries like the former Soviet Union, China, and erstwhile East European countries, as well as the fascist state like Germany, were excluded from the category of the welfare state. In other words, the term welfare state is used only for the states of those capitalist countries which undertake the positive task of providing welfare services and where the government preserves the formal democratic institutional framework. Now, the next point is welfare state believes in a mixed economy. A welfare state operates within the framework of the market economy, that is, the capitalist mode of production. However, unlike the laissez faire capitalist economy, the welfare state believes that unrestricted operation of the market has proved dangerous for the individual because it lead to poverty, ignorance and illiteracy, etc., as well as for the economy because it lead to booms, depression, crisis leading to waste and inefficiency. The welfare state does not want to eliminate the market based economy, but to streamline it in a manner where it could realize the productive potentialities by preserving crises. The welfare state believes that the poverty, dependencies, and the economic insecurity are not the consequences of nature and incompetence on the part of the poor, but result from changeable institutions of society. For the first time in history, modern technology has made it possible to banish poverty from the face of the earth. The economic and other insecurities are caused by social forces and could be avoided by purposeful social action. Economic insecurity stems from inadequate compensation, disabilities incurred through accident, ill health, old age, etc., and unemployment. The welfare state believes that these insecurities can be overcome by remodeling the laissez faire economy and by introducing a form of planning to realize these objectives. But planning should be combined with the market economy in various degrees. In other words, it would rectify the evils of the capitalist system by state intervention. It stands for what is now popularly known as mixed economy or a managed economy. Now, the next point is welfare state is a permanent institution of society and a natural agency. The welfare state positive liberalism maintains is an eternal and permanent institution of society. The state is also a neutral instrument of power which can be used for any purpose. The state is an arbiter seeking the good of any society impartially. The ability of the state to provide quantity, quality, and the type of welfare depends upon the groups who wield the state power. The personnel of the government could be changed by the will of the people through universal suffrage. The state does not belong to a particular class. It tries to intervene in the economy positively and reshape it in such a manner that a minimum of social living is created for all the citizens, irrespective of the status and class position of citizens in the society. As Titmus pointed out, it was increasingly regarded as a proper function of government to wards of distress and strain among not only the poor but also all classes of society. In short, positive liberalism considered the welfare state as a new kind of state which is democratic in form, which, though considering profit oriented market economy as desirable, seeks to regulate or streamline it to serve social needs and thereby provide social welfare to the citizens. It is a state which has evolved from the laissez-faire state by a process of increased interference in the operation of the market economy at various levels and by gradually regulating the power of capital. It is a state in which political power is increasingly used to free the people from the tyranny of capital, assuring them a certain standard of welfare. The welfare amenities are not restricted to a specific group but belong to the society as a whole. Here we want to wind up today's lecture. Thank you so much for your attention.